How many of you have ever set a goal, started strong, and then stopped? Maybe it was a fitness routine, a new business idea, or a daily reading habit. You had the best intentions, but somewhere along the way, life got in the way. Sound familiar? The truth is, staying consistent isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's about understanding the real reasons why we fall off track and creating habits that keep us going even on the tough days. So today I want to share with you 5 powerful ways to stay consistent with your daily goals. These aren't quick hacks or motivational gimmicks. These are real, actionable strategies that will help you build discipline, momentum, and lasting success. 1. Start with your why. Let's start with the foundation. Why are you doing this in the first place? If your reason isn't strong enough, no strategy will keep you consistent. Your why has to be bigger than your excuses. Think about people who wake up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym every day. They're not just doing it to look good. They're doing it because they want to set an example for their kids, because they want to stay healthy for their family, because they want to prove something to themselves. Take Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian of all time. He trained every single day for 5 straight years without missing a session. Why? Because his why wasn't just to win medals. It was to be the greatest swimmer in history. That deep emotional reason kept him going even on the hardest days. Find your why, write it down, remind yourself daily and let it drive you. 2, build a system, not just motivation. Motivation is unreliable. Some days you feel inspired and other days you don't. That's why you need a system, a structured plan that makes consistency automatic. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, explains that people who succeed don't rely on willpower. They build environments and routines that set them up for success. For example, if your goal is to read 10 pages of a book every day, don't just tell yourself, I'll read when I have time. Instead, schedule it. Place the book on your pillow so you see it before bed. Set an alarm that reminds you to read at the same time each day. Remove the need for motivation and replace it with a system. 3, make it easy to start. The hardest part of any goal is getting started, so make it ridiculously easy. If you want to write a book, don't start with, I have to write 1,000 words today. Instead, commit to writing just 1 sentence. If you want to exercise daily, start with 2 push-ups. Jerry Seinfeld, one of the most successful comedians in history, didn't aim to write perfect jokes every day. He just committed to writing 1 joke per day. That's it. Over time, those small actions added up, and he became one of the greatest comedians of all time. Lower the barrier to entry, and consistency will follow. 4, tack small wins daily. What gets measured gets improved. Most people quit because they don't see progress, but the truth is, small wins matter. Look at fitness apps like Fitbit or Apple Watch. They keep people engaged by tracking steps, setting small challenges, and rewarding streaks. Even something as simple as checking off a to-do list can create momentum. A great example is author Stephen King. He writes at least 2,000 words every day, and he keeps track of his progress. He doesn't focus on writing a bestseller in one sitting. He focuses on hitting his daily word count. Find a way to measure progress, whether it's a journal, an app, or a simple checklist. Celebrate every small win. 5, create accountability and support. It's easy to break a promise to yourself. It's much harder to break a promise to someone else. Accountability is the secret weapon of consistency. Find a mentor, a coach, a friend, or a group that will hold you to your commitments. This is why workout buddies work so well. When someone else is expecting you to show up, you're far more likely to follow through. Entrepreneurs like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos surround themselves with high achievers who challenge them and hold them accountable. Even at their level, they know that who you spend time with directly impacts your success. If you want to stay consistent, don't do it alone. Find people who push you to be better. The one question that changes everything. The next time you think about quitting, ask yourself this: who do I want to become? Because staying consistent isn't about willpower, it's about identity. The moment you start seeing yourself as the type of person who shows up every day, everything changes. If you follow these 5 strategies, starting with your why, building a system, making it easy to start, tracking small wins, and creating accountability, you will stay consistent. Not just for 30 days, but for life. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 strategies will you apply first? Drop it in the comments below, and if you found this valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more motivation. When people struggle with consistency, it's rarely because they lack discipline, it's because they lack a compelling reason to stay committed. Without a strong why, motivation fades, distractions take over, and goals become just another thing on a long to-do list. The most successful people in the world aren't necessarily the most talented or the hardest working. They are the ones who have a deep, meaningful reason behind everything they do. Imagine two people training for a marathon. One does it because they think it might be a fun challenge. The other does it to raise money for cancer research in honor of a loved one they lost. Who do you think will be more likely to push through the pain, wake up early for training, and show up on race day even when it's hard? The second person, without a doubt. Their reason is bigger than the discomfort. This is why people who set surface level goals, like I want to lose weight or I want to make more money, often give up. The goal itself isn't enough. There has to be a deeper reason. Instead of saying, I want to lose weight, it's more powerful to say, I want to be healthy so I can have the energy to play with my kids and be there for them as they grow up. Instead of, I want to make more money, say, I want financial freedom so I can provide a better life for my family and not feel stressed about bills every month. Take an example from the world of business. When Howard Schultz took over Starbucks, he wasn't just trying to sell coffee. He wanted to create a third place between home and work, where people could connect and feel a sense of belonging. That deeper purpose fueled Starbucks' massive growth. If Schultz was only focused on selling coffee, he would have quit the moment the business hit obstacles. But his why was strong enough to push through the challenges. Another great example is J.K. Rowling. Before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, she faced multiple rejections from publishers, struggled with financial hardship, and almost gave up. But her reason for writing was never just about publishing a book. It was about sharing a story that meant something to her. That purpose gave her the resilience to keep going when most people would have stopped. To make this work in your own life, take a moment to ask yourself, why does this goal matter to me? And then ask it again, dig deeper. If your first answer is, because I want to be successful, ask yourself, why do I want to be successful? Keep going until you hit an emotional core, something that truly matters to you. When you connect your goal to something bigger than yourself, you create an internal drive that is much stronger than fleeting motivation. You no longer rely on willpower alone because your purpose becomes your fuel. And when that happens, consistency is no longer a struggle, it becomes a natural part of who you are. Motivation is unreliable, it's inconsistent, unpredictable, and fades over time. This is why so many people start strong but struggle to maintain momentum. They rely on the feeling of motivation to take action, and when that feeling disappears, which it inevitably does, they stop. The truth is, successful people don't depend on motivation. They depend on systems. A system is a structured process that makes consistency automatic. It removes the need to decide every day whether or not to take action because the action is already built into a routine. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wake up every morning and wonder, do I feel motivated to brush my teeth today? No. You just do it because it's a habit. The best example of this is Olympic athletes. They don't wait to feel inspired to train. They have structured routines, schedules, and accountability built into their daily lives. Swimmer Michael Phelps trained 7 days a week, 365 days a year, without fail. Didn't rely on motivation to get into the pool. He had a system, a carefully designed routine that eliminated any decision-making. Author James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, explains that winners and losers have the same goals. The difference is that winners build systems that make those goals achievable. If your goal is to write a book, don't just wait for creative inspiration. Create a system where you write for 30 minutes at the same time every day, no matter what. If your goal is to get in shape, don't rely on motivation to hit the gym. Set a schedule, lay out your workout clothes the night before, and make exercise a non-negotiable part of your day. Think about restaurants like McDonald's. They serve billions of people worldwide, and their success isn't because they make the best burgers, it's because they have one of the most efficient systems in the world. No matter where you go, every McDonald's follows the same process. Their employees don't have to think about what to do next because the system tells them exactly what to do. The key to creating a system that works is to remove obstacles and reduce friction. If you want to read more, don't just say, I'll read when I have time. Instead, set a fixed time, maybe right before bed, and place your book where you'll see it. If you want to eat healthier, prepare your meals in advance so you don't have to make a decision when you're hungry. The easier you make it to follow through, the more likely you are to stay consistent. Systems provide structure, predictability, and accountability. They take the guesswork out of success and turn action into a habit. And once something becomes a habit, it no longer requires effort. it becomes part of who you are. So instead of chasing motivation, build a system that keeps you moving forward even on the days you don't feel like it. Because when motivation fades, your system will be the reason you keep going. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with consistency is because they make starting too difficult. They set massive goals that feel overwhelming, and when faced with that overwhelming feeling, they procrastinate. The secret to staying consistent isn't about pushing harder, it's about making it easier to start. The hardest part of any task is simply beginning. Think about it. Getting out of bed early in the morning is the hardest part of waking up, but once you're up, you're up. Going to the gym, the hardest part isn't the workout, it's getting yourself there. Writing a book, the hardest part isn't finishing, it's getting started on that first page. This is why successful people design their environments to reduce friction and make it as easy as possible to take the first step. James Clear in Atomic Habits talks about the 2-minute rule, a principle that states when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. The idea is to make starting so easy that you can't say no. Instead of saying, I'll read 50 pages today, say, I'll read 1 paragraph. Instead of I'll work out for an hour, say, I'll do 5 push-ups. Because once you start, momentum takes over. A great example of this is Jerry Seinfeld. One of the most successful comedians of all time, Seinfeld didn't aim to write a perfect joke every day, he just committed to writing something every day. He had a calendar, and every day that he wrote, he would put a big red X on that day. His only goal was to not break the chain. By focusing on just getting started, he built an incredible habit of consistency that helped him refine his craft. The same principle applies to fitness. Have you ever noticed that getting dressed for a workout is half the battle? That's why laying out your gym clothes the night before makes a huge difference. It removes an extra step, making it easier to start. If you want to eat healthier, prepping your meals in advance removes the decision-making process and makes it easier to make the right choice. Look at how tech companies design their products. Streaming platforms like Netflix and YouTube autoplay the next episode or video, making it effortless to keep watching. They understand that reducing friction increases engagement. You can apply the same concept to your daily goals. Make it effortless to take that first step, and consistency will follow naturally. One of the biggest myths about success is that it requires superhuman willpower. It doesn't. It requires making the first step so easy that it's impossible to fail. Over time, that first step leads to another, and before you know it, you're in motion. And when you're in motion, staying consistent becomes second nature. One of the biggest reasons people give up on their goals is because they don't see progress fast enough. They expect overnight success, and when they don't get it, they lose motivation. But the truth is, progress is often invisible at first. It happens in small, almost unnoticeable steps. That's why tracking small wins daily is one of the most powerful ways to stay consistent. Imagine planting a seed, you water it every day, but for weeks you see nothing. If you didn't know better, you might think nothing was happening, but underneath the soil, roots are growing, progress is being made, it's just not visible yet. The same is true for any habit or goal. Success doesn't happen in one big moment, it happens through consistent, small actions that compound over time. Look at world-class athletes. They don't measure their success by winning championships alone. They track their daily progress. A runner doesn't just focus on breaking records, they focus on improving their time by just a fraction of a second. A weightlifter doesn't expect to lift double their body weight overnight. They focus on small increases in strength, 1 rep at a time. This principle applies to everything. Take someone learning a new language. If they only measure success by whether they can hold a full conversation, they'll get discouraged. But if they track smaller wins, learning 5 new words a day, improving their pronunciation, understanding a short sentence, they'll stay motivated because they can see progress. Small wins create momentum. There's a reason fitness apps like Fitbit and Apple Watch track daily steps and send achievement badges. These micro rewards keep people engaged. Even video games use this principle. Players stay hooked because they're constantly unlocking new levels, getting small achievements and seeing progress. One of the best examples of tracking small wins is the way Cecil author Stephen King writes. Instead of focusing on completing an entire book, he focuses on writing 2,000 words a day. That's it. Over time, those daily words turn into novels. He doesn't wait for inspiration, he measures progress by showing up every day and hitting his small goal. So, how do you apply this to your own life? Start measuring your progress in smaller units. If you're trying to build a reading habit, track the number of pages you read instead of worrying about finishing an entire book. If you're working out, don't just focus on long-term body transformation, celebrate the fact that you showed up to the gym today. If you're working on a business, track small milestones like reaching out to one new client, improving a skill, or creating one piece of content. Progress isn't always about big leaps, it's about small steps taken consistently. And when you track those small wins daily, you create a feedback loop of motivation. You begin to see proof that you're improving, and that proof keeps you going. Because in the end, success isn't about giant breakthroughs, it's about daily victories that add up over time. Staying consistent with your goals is not about relying on fleeting motivation, but about creating a system that supports you. Breaking down your goals into manageable steps, tracking your small wins, and most importantly, remembering your why. Success is built on habits, not moments of inspiration. And by focusing on these strategies, you can build a foundation that will keep you moving forward, even on the days you feel like giving up. Remember, consistency is what turns your dreams into reality. It's not about perfection, it's about showing up every day, no matter how small the progress seems. So, I challenge you, take one of these strategies and apply it today. Start with just one small step and make it a habit, because your future self will thank you for the effort you put in today. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's keep the conversation going. I want to hear about your goals and how you're staying consistent with them. Let's build a community of action takers. Stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next video.